Hey, Kevin Lynch here. The most common problem I hear from people making pizza at home is the dough gets stuck to the peel. While it's not hard to transfer dough from a peel to a stone, you gotta know what you're doing. But when you're doing it right, it's very simple. So a dough ball can be sticky, so you wanna make sure it has a nice coating of flour so that it doesn't get stuck on the peel. So just take your dough ball and cover both sides with flour. And then take it and put it on a floured surface. And that's where we're going to stretch the dough. So you're stretching it on the floured surface. You want to flatten it. You're going to stretch it out by taking your fingers and just kind of stretching in every direction. After we stretch the dough, we're going to want to put it on a peel. I really like a wood peel for this process because it makes it a lot easier to slide the dough around. You can take flour and you can rub it down into every pore of this wood peel, which makes sure there's a really good covering of flour. You don't want to put a ton of flour or it gets stuck to the bottom of the pizza, but you want to make sure you have a nice, smooth, thin layer so that the pizza slides around. So just take the flour and just rub it in. Rub it into this wood peel. So it's not a ton of flour on there, but it's enough where it's a nice, very thin coat, where it's nice and slick. If you're a beginner, I also recommend putting a little bit of semolina or cornmeal on the peel to give it a little bit more slickness. So just take some cornmeal and just drizzle it on here. That'll get it really nice and slick. You don't want to have a ton of flour on your dough, so you can slap it around a little bit and get it off. There's some different methods for stretching out your dough. You can take your hands like fists, just keep spinning it around like this. Make sure not to poke any holes with your fingers. Or if you want to toss it, which I really like to do because it helps stretch the dough, just take two fists, spin it, catch it with your fists. Two fists, spin it, catch it with your fist. Try to have your fists land on the outside of the dough so you're not poking holes in the middle. Okay, so we've been prepping it on our floured surface. Now we're going to transfer it to our floured and cornmealed surface on the peel. As you can see, it's moving around, it's moving around, it's moving around. That's what you want to happen. If you have a nice smooth surface for sliding around your dough, the other bad thing that can happen is if any sauce gets underneath the dough on the peel. That can create a sticky spot and really create problems. So make sure when you're putting on your sauce or oil or whatever you're using, make sure it stays on the pizza. It doesn't get too close to the edge where it slides off and gets underneath. So I'm going to take the sauce, just spread it out with my ladle in a circular motion. Leave a nice area for the crust on the outside. So I'm going to add my cheese. I like to add a little bit of grated Parmesan and grated Romano to my cheese pizzas. I always like adding just a little bit of pepper. A sprinkle of dried or fresh oregano. All right, it's ready to go in the oven. You can see it's still sliding around. It's still sliding around. That's good. We'll be able to slide it right on the stone. And you have your stone in the oven, then just slide the pizza off the peel and onto the stone. Just a couple quick motions. There we are. So I like to use a wood peel for transferring the dough onto the stone. I do like to use a metal peel to get it off of the stone. You can give it a spin halfway if you want. When it's done, you just scoop it out with your metal peel.